If you find yourself in a position that you have to prepare a presentation or deliver a speech to an executive team or in a private setting, and you find that you have very limited time left, then I have some suggestions for you today on how to be able to achieve that very, very quickly. So here are some of the basic techniques you can use to build up a speech and prepare for it in no time. So first of all, start with a clear message. I mean, that's the most important thing. You have to identify that for how long are you going to be speaking. Is it going to be a 5-minute speech, a 10-minute, or a 40-minute keynote lecture? The key rule of thumb is for every 5 minutes, you should have one main point that you would want to emphasize to the audience. If it's a 5 to 6 minute speech, just keep to one point, that's it. And even in general, even if it's a bigger speech, sticking to one point can be sufficient if it's an important point and you're building the entire story around it. But no matter what, getting what the important message is, something that you want people to remember. Remember, that's how you identify the message. Messages is something which your audience will remember even after the presentation is gone. Now, in a public speaking settings, in motivational speeches, they talk about a big message like, work hard, or talk about keep hustling, keep grinding. That's in a motivational speech setting. Maybe it's in a corporate professional setting. What do you want to talk? For example, you might be a data scientist. You might be presenting the annual report of the company's marketing performance. You might want to tell that the key point into being about this presentation is that in past 1 month, Google ads have outperformed Facebook ads by 40%. I mean, that could be your singular message. You want that message to go along to your executive team or the marketing team or the rest of the audience. Now, you build your entire presentation around it, but you want to ensure that everything else you put into the presentation supports that claim and makes that argument as unambiguous as possible. Second, use a strong opening and a conclusion. I mean, always start strong and always close hard. I mean, these two are very important because you are remembered largely based on how you made the first impression, and secondly, how you close and made people feel by the end of it. Opening start and closing hard, it can be an entire video all about it, that how you could come up with different openings and closings. But a general rule of thumb ends up being is that you want to start with an energetic opening. You want to address the audience, and towards the closing you want to have a memorable quote, or you want to emphasize the point in a very strong, sharp, eloquent fashion so that everybody remembers what you just said and what they have to take away from it. Third point ends up being is focus on the key points. Now, what you want to do is that you want to break down your first important message into maybe 3 to 4 important junctions. For example, talk about the marketing case study. You might be telling to your bosses that that in the beginning of the year we wanted to allocate the budget. We had equal budget for Google and Facebook ads. Then we decided to do some experiments. Then you tell about what the strategy of that experiment was, what were the key milestones, and then eventually what the results were, and finally what the conclusion was. These could be your 4 or 5 main points, and you structure your speech around it. Again, these are smaller milestones compared to your message. They gives an anchoring to your presentation in the speech. Once you have these in mind, it will be far more easy for you to deliver and prepare your speech. Next is visuals. This is kind of an optional depending on what you're going to do, but largely in a corporate setting you might be giving a PowerPoint presentation, so it's good to have visuals. You could have charts, you could to have images, good to have graphs to go along with it. But when you do, please ensure that you're using a good, well-defined, well-established color scheme and a color theme to go along with it, using the right fonts. And if your company already has a corporate policy in place in terms of what those visual elements should look like, perhaps refer to your corporate visual marketing department, communication department, and get them approved and certified on what you're doing, so that it's aligned with company policy and won't be embarrassing if you're presenting to a senior leadership who might be turned off if you're not using the right combinations they've established as a guideline for all of their team. Fifth point ends up being is practice, practice, and practice. One thing I've always said is preparation is the key to the success. You are going to do in front of public, you're going to do in front of other people, you need to prepare in advance. You need to be thorough with your words, with your message, any sharp points you're making, any humor you're going to incorporate inside your speech. All of it needs to be prepared well in advance, so that when you go, you make things happen. You ensure that the presentation goes smoothly as much as possible. Allocate time at home, do with the friends and family, record yourself and listen, but do it. And finally, what ends up being is stay in the time limit. You will be allocated a specific time for your presentation. please make sure that your presentation sticks to that time limit. There are lots of established guides on word count and how much time should it take. Please try to stick to that. You will not be able to be a superman here, be faster, and being fast is actually bad, because when you speak too fast, people don't understand you. So what you want to do is ensure that whatever time is being allocated to you, your word count and your slides count is in proportion of that. There are lots and lots of guides available online on how to do that. But for example, a key would be, a rule of thumb would be, for a 5-minute speech, you should probably not want to go more than 600 to 700 words. I mean, that's an ideal sweet spot which you'll be able to deliver with pauses and and in case you forget anything. So please try to keep that in mind. And yes, so these are like 6 points I would suggest each and every one of you. If you are struggling with a limited time to prepare a speech, keep these points into mind and you will have a much easier time preparing a speech. And yeah, with that said, I hope you found this video useful. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and share with your friends and family. Let me in the comment section that how do you prepare a speech or a presentation when you are pressed for the time. Any tips and hacks do you use and we want to share with the rest of the community here? That would be amazing. And finally, do let me know if you want me to do a video on a specific topic, you have specific curiosities or just your thoughts. I would love to hear and read them. And yes, till then, I'm making the next video. I hope you have a great time. Till then, bye bye, tata.